Hello and welcome. This is Alchemistexe, and this is the banner overview for the week of November 3rd. It is not going to be much of an overview for the banners themselves because there's really not much there. We'll get into why later, but definitely if you don't have a lot of time to listen to me, if you're going to take away one thing, take away that it's a skip week, wait for anniversary, etc. I did, however, while I'm doing this level that I need to run like a million times to get some milestones that might not even be worth the effort, I want to talk about the monthly updates because I made a prediction earlier that the Genesis final chapter was going to be part of the anniversary, mostly based on how Japan did their anniversary. For them, it was 6th. For us, it's going to be 5th. But there was a curveball in there, and that curveball is Schmeier and the Dragon Genesis. I just did not expect that at all because that event happened quite a bit later in terms of Japan's timeline. And the reason I think this is happening is just because some of the events that we are due to release, not counting holiday stuff, is going to start including the alternate versions of units. And that is something they haven't even introduced the idea of that yet. So I think they maybe want to unveil that as part of the anniversary celebration. But to have something that they can advertise that doesn't give that away, the Dragon Genesis makes a pretty good one. I'm sure some people are definitely excited and waiting for Schmeier. She looks really cool. She can turn into a dragon. She's got some cool functionality in terms of debuffing enemies and just being a strong wind magic unit. And then as an added bonus, her dragon map effect can increase range +1 for wind units, which there's a lot of wind missile units that could definitely benefit from that. And then also, I think it hinders moves of non-wind units while it's active. So dragons in general are at the very least good, if not great. Maybe not perfect in terms of Claybell, but she makes a good unit to just stick on like the cover of the anniversary just because of previous hype and then just functional utility. So aside from the dragon stuff, there's also going to be a free unit that was, I believe that she was designed via a series of pulls, which if you look at Estella's design, not that surprising, people being people. It was either going to be that or like the most polar opposite, but either way, I'm more curious to see how she functions as a unit. And then as far as the anniversary stuff itself goes, nothing concrete so far, but I would expect just shops, good banners, probably some bundles. But I'm curious to see what they end up releasing. So yeah, that is it for the preamble. Let's go into the banners and talk about why they're so very skippable. And here we are at the banners. So in general, almost everything is going to be a skip. There is one exception, and I will talk about that last. So I don't think anyone should do the 5-step unlimited or the 3-step unlimited, just because this recommended limit break could get you covered for that, but more on that in a bit. The voucher banners I just don't think are worth it at this time, just because if you are doing it to try and get a ton of mementos, that stuff's all going to be normal pool, and you might get a memento selector for, say you wanted like Cellier's memento, something like that. The chances of being able to get that in a more gem efficient way in the coming weeks is decently high, so I would definitely avoid them. I think they're just serving as a gem sink right before the anniversary. If you're after, like, say, Nero's memento, Zex's, the newer Soul Eins, or Veer's memento, and you've just been waiting for that rerun, then you might want to spend the gems and go for it if that was already on your list. If it's not already on your list, I would definitely stay away from these banners. And then there's another few days for Maria, Bianca, and the Genesis and Global mementos from earlier. But the recommended Limit Break Festival. So if you really, really want to narrow, she's been high on your list, then yes, this is a really good way to get her. 15,500 gems. You get that selector. If you don't pull her, you can transmute her, still have some shards left over. And then, of course, if you get lucky, because the format of this banner is really good, having a guaranteed step on every step, it really does make a big difference. So for most people, I would not recommend sinking that many gems right before the anniversary, especially if it's going to put you under 30,000 gems. But if one of these units that's featured is must-have to you, then yes, it is a very, very good banner. It almost escaped my radar just because I thought it was just going to be random shards like it usually is with a pool this good. And I like double checked the news just to make sure that it wasn't a mistake, but it's not. I mean, it makes sense. Nero has been around for like almost 2 years now, so they do have to make her less scarce at some point because, you know, while she is an absolutely excellent unit to have, it's not like she's a just instant win the game button by any means. So yeah, that is all I have to say about this. So hopefully if you are pulling, I wish you good luck and that you don't have to spend too many gems. And I will see you on the anniversary celebrations.